MLB player props here on PrizePicks. Before I get started, though, there's a link in the description below to sign up for PrizePicks. PrizePicks will match 100% of your first deposit. Also, there is a Discord link and a Patreon link in the description of this video as well. Discord, trying to grow a nice community, just build these wins together. And then Patreon, I do post bonus plays. And so every YouTube video, I give about 3 player props that I like on any given sport that I'm doing that day. In Patreon, I give about 10 total. So again, check those links out in the description. Also, PrizePicks link as well. But let's get into it. We yesterday did not do well at all. Tyler Anderson missed. We had his 5 strikeouts. He had 4. Justin Steele pushed, and then Austin Riley only had 1.5 TB. And I mean, he had like 11 fantasy points. So it just goes to show you that you can have fantasy score and not total basis. So definitely looking to bounce back. Definitely 0 for 2 yesterday. Justin Steele obviously a push. 0 for 2. Looking to bounce back. We're going to have days like we had yesterday. That's how this just works. You can't have the green days. You can't have the big wins without the little losses. So looking to bounce back today. 3 total player props that I like. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is not gambling advice either. These are just the plays I'm looking at making. But let's get into it. First play I like is Jeffrey Springs over 5 Ks. Now I think at bare minimum we're looking at a push here for Jeffrey Springs. He has been pitching extremely well, and now that he's like a fully fledged starter for these Tampa Bay Rays, we can see here that Jeffrey Springs over his last, I would say, 4 outings, he's had 6, 8, and 7 strikeouts. So actually been over 5 in those outings. But look at this month of June that he had 7, 5, 5, 6, and 9. 5 outings with 5 strikeouts or more. And if you watch him pitch in like his advanced stats, his strikeout and just swing and miss rate is actually very high. I like Jeffrey Springs here as well against the Boston Red Sox. Right, against lefties, Boston over the since July 1st, so last 50 days or so, they're top 10 in baseball, 25.8% strikeout percentage. Their batting average is pretty decent against lefties, but again, 267 batting average against lefties, probably top 10 and top 5 in baseball, but their strikeout percentage is up there as well, 25.8. So hopefully Jeffrey Springs can not get in too much trouble, pitch at least 5 innings in this game and get those 5 strikeouts. So I'm taking more here on Jeffrey Springs. I think at bare minimum this is a push. I would say of the 3 plays that I'm giving today, this is probably the one I feel least confident in. I do just want to let you guys know that, but I do like Jeffrey Springs over 5 Ks here in this spot against the Boston Red Sox. And just also want to mention that people are saying, a lot of people are taking Justin May's over here of 6 also. But I'm gonna give the bonus play in the description on Patreon about that one. But definitely interesting to see Dustin May back and pitching extremely well for the Dodgers. The next play is going to be a walks allowed, and it's going to be Eduardo Rodriguez. I'm taking the over 1.5. Now this might get moved off the board. This might bump up, but I'm taking it 1.5 here. Eduardo Rodriguez, he's pitching pretty deep in the games, right? You can see 98, 102, 104. But I mean, look at these walks. He's gone over 1.5 once, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times in his, I don't know how many starts he has. 7 times he gone 1.5 in 9 starts. So I'm surprised this is at 1.5 in my opinion. He is facing the Texas Rangers, who are kind of middle of the road as far as walks drawn against lefties, but I just think it's a good value play here at 1.5. I'm surprised, honestly, it's 1.5. There's a pitcher that's, again, like I said, gone over 7.5 or gone over 1.5 walks 7 times in his 9 starts. So I like this play here. I think it's some value play here. Eduardo Rodriguez over 1.5 walks allowed. And then the last play, we're going to go and we're going to do Mookie Betts over 7.5 hitter fantasy score. He went absolutely insane yesterday. Mookie, yesterday, he went 4 for 6, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, 1 stolen base. Probably had like, I don't know what that is, like 45 fantasy points. Going absolutely crazy. If you take a look at his splits here as well, over his last 7 days, he's hitting 308. In the month of August, 323 with a 1.007 OPS as well. But he's facing Sandy Alcantara, which is definitely an interesting matchup. But in his career against Sandy, he's got 8 plate appearances. He's got 4 hits actually. So he's hitting 571 against Sandy, 714 slugging with 1 walk as well. The Dodgers did actually hit Sandy Alcantara pretty well in their last game. So I like Mookie Betts here. Again, hitting at the top of that Dodger lineup, so potent. That lineup is extremely potent. He hits at the top. So many different ways for Mookie Betts to get his fantasy score up. It's only at 7.5 because, again, they are facing Sandy Alcantara. But Mookie in his zone right now, coming off that game he had yesterday. Hopefully he can continue that today against him. I take like Mookie Betts over 7.5 hitter fantasy score. So Jeffrey Springs over 5 Ks, Eduardo Rodriguez over 1.5 walks allowed, and Mookie Betts over 7.5 fantasy score. Those are the 3 props today. Let me know in the comments below. Hopefully we bounce back and have a nice green day. Hit that subscribe button, drop a like on this video, and as always, have a great day.